presentation and impact, career path, students following after high school to focus on communication or collaboration skills. It's really very important to try to strengthen those connections between schools and industry partners. So even though we're seeing a lot of market fluctuations this year and next year, and the decisions are being made much more slowly due to market uncertainties, but the need for skilled staff is really high. So I'm hopeful for the coming year to look for opportunities to continue to connect and with each other and to encourage teamwork and problem solving, and which are really critical in the success of CTE students. So thank you to the educators, to administrators alike, and thank you everyone for being here. Thanks, Sean.
So as we're getting started today, we just again thank you for that opening. I think that was a great opening for the work that we're being engaged with today, and our purpose of working in close collaboration together with schools and partners, and continue to further that work together. Today's agenda, just as very briefly, is we're going to have a update from the Office of Student Pathways, kind of an overview. We'll have some employer engagement updates. We'll have a presentation about a pilot regarding sustainability in the green economy, updates on the Industry Scholars Program, and then we'll have some time for industry partners to share some updates towards the end of the meeting. We'll start off with an update and overview of the Office of Student Pathways by Reina Utsunomiya, who is our Deputy Executive Director of.
Hi, everyone. Good afternoon, and so great to see everyone. My name is Reina Utsunomiya. As Sean mentioned, I'm Deputy Executive Director of Supporting Work-Based Learning and Employer Engagement as part of our Office of Student Pathways. And I just wanted to give you some updates on what's been happening since we last had the opportunity to convene the Industry Commission. As you're seeing, there's more members who are now part of this work, and we want to make sure that the work that you have been supporting us from our industry, from our all our training partners and our school, that we are continuing to uplift the voice that you have and expertise that you're bringing to our schools. The slide that you're seeing right now is something that I want to just share as a reflection of how much the work that this office has been doing is really reverberating across not just with our career and technical education schools, but now more of a citywide effort. As you may have heard in the Chancellor's State of the Schools back in September, he's really thinking of how we can think of career pathways front and center for preparing students for careers and for being able to really hone in on what is going to be their passion and purpose. So the pieces that we're really thinking about are what can we do to make sure students are leaving our school filled with a strong plan of what they want to do after they graduate, and how can we help them get a head start, whether it's through credentialing or training or any other opportunities to connect our students with industry. And a lot of this has obviously been happening already through this amazing Industry Commission. What we also wanted to make sure is, as we move forward, we want to take advantage of this chance to really think about how can we make sure the Chancellor is thinking thoughtfully of what does it take to expand this type of work, and what are the things that we as this commission can put together as ideas so that we are being able to advocate for things that will be really important to make sure the work is continuing over the years beyond just a Chancellor's priority. Just as a quick overview of what the Chancellor has been thinking about, and Sean, if you look at if you show the next slide, one of the things that we have definitely been concerned about is how many of our students are really leaving our system prepared for opportunities to pursue careers. And this is a snapshot of students who entered our high school as part of New York City Public Schools back in 2011. So these are students who started in 9th grade. We had 74,363 students. 4 years later, when they graduated in 2015, or 4 years later, the number of students who actually graduated from that original number significantly dropped. We lost at least 30% of our students, whether it was because they were disengaged from our schools, whether they had other things that happened in their lives. We have an opportunity to make sure this is something we can address. As this chart shows, this is looking at where students have then gone on to pursuing a college degree. But we also want to be mindful of the fact that students are pursuing other ways of going into careers, whether that is through apprenticeships, whether that is through additional training, whether it's getting a credential. And so these are things we want to make sure as we are working with the chancellor on how can we make sure career pathway work expands in our city. And especially as we're thinking about how can we make these careers provide our students with livable wage. This is something that schools are able to sustain and our partners are able to have a voice. So, Sean, can you go to the next slide? I don't know if that was one of them. Okay, never mind, go back. So what this means is this year we're actually asking this commission to help work with us on thinking of how can we bring up key issues, key industry needs. What are the things that we want to be thinking about for talent development, and how does that tie into what we're doing to preparing students? All of that has been happening in these industry commissions, but what we want to be able to do is do that across all the industry commissions we work with. And by the end of the school year, we would like to be able to compile these into a set of recommendations that we are able to put forward to the chancellor. And these are going to be touching on a range of things. It could be programming, teacher upskilling, student opportunities for work-based learning, additional training that we could be providing our students confidentially. All these pieces that, in order for schools to be able to sustain programs, we don't want it to be just a one-time thing and then it disappears into the night. We want to make sure the chancellor is aware that in order to sustain this, it is something that needs to be thoughtfully planned out with industry, with our partners, with our schools. So we are going to be asking for your help in this. We're having a partner help us out in this process since we are trying to bring the voices of a lot of different stakeholders here. So we are going to be working with an organization called Jobs First New York City. Many of you may already be familiar with them. They have been very active in different ways of thinking about employment opportunities and thinking about the workforce in New York City. And they will be helping us to facilitate these discussions. And towards the end, putting together a set of recommendations to that we will be presenting to the chancellor. So with that, I want to give I want to stop and make sure that our friends from Jobs First New York City can also introduce themselves and share how you can take part in this process. Is Carrie or?
It's Carrie, yeah.
Okay, great.
Thanks. Hi. Hi, everybody. I am Carrie Fallhaber, Vice President at Jobs First NYC. Thank you for having us here today and for joining us. My colleagues and I are really grateful to be working with New York City Public Schools and all of you in this work this year. Some of you may be familiar with our work. In 2020, Jobs First, with some leading green economy workforce development nonprofits, launched the Green Economy Network for New York City. And I've been working with a lot of folks in the trades and construction and offshore wind and solar. So if I've met you before, great to see you again. Just quickly give a little background on who and what Jobs First NYC is for anyone who's unfamiliar. Jobs First is dedicated to creating and advancing solutions that break down barriers and transform the system supporting young adults and their communities in the pursuit of economic mobility. We bring together all available community, corporate, human, organizational, private, and public resources to connect young adults to the economic life of New York City. Next slide, please. We hold these core values near and dear to our hearts and hope they make it clear how important you are in the work that we do. Our core values drive our process, and we center stakeholders, ensure your voices are a part of steering this collective effort. And those core values are people first. You all, your potential, are the focus of our work and the source of our solutions. We welcome bold ideas. Change comes with innovation and some risk taking. The collective genius of all of you is precious to us. We know that with you, we can accomplish much more. And we come with informed objectivity. We do our research, we listen, we learn. We always listen before we act, and we don't come with our own agenda. The agenda is yours. We focus on results. Next slide. Jobs for Solutions we focus on breaking down barriers, building transformative solutions across 3 key areas that inform policy investments. Those are community, education, and work. And you see them here. I don't want to read through the slide. I think it's fairly obvious that community or place-based solutions, this work is very much rooted, I think, at the intersection of education and work. Next slide. So who are we in this with you all? Jobs First is going to facilitate fall and spring industry commission steering committee meetings, and we're going to give you an opportunity to express your interest in engaging at that deeper level and being part of a steering committee, to source your recommendations for the New York City Chancellor, to make sure this is sustainable, how to inform how to best utilize commissions, what schools need to know about the industry, and what students should be doing to connect to it. With you, we'll set common objectives for meetings and identify barriers, improve experiences for the commission and the council stakeholders. We'll conduct follow-up meetings and interviews with you all to ensure that the recommendations are comprehensive and inclusive and that we heard you right. And we'll be doing analysis and synthesis of the recommendations made by the industry commission. As I said, I think, Raina, maybe you wanted to drop a engagement survey link in chat. If you've been involved in this work, this is the timeline. So we're in these commission meetings now, the fall commission meetings, and then we're going to give you an opportunity in the engagement survey, or obviously follow up with us in any way that you want to express interest in working more deeply in these steering committees in the early winter. And then the commission meetings will be in spring, but that time in early winter, we'll really be doing a lot of the work that I just expressed. If you've been involved in this work for a while, if you're excited about it, about the visibility with the chancellor, or if you are new and interested in having your voice heard, please fill out the form or indicate your interest in joining that steering committee via the survey. And we will meet in between this meeting and the spring meeting to do facilitated activities, develop goals and recommendations for the commission, for students to prepare to be in your industry and in other industries, and for New York Public Schools to get this right. And the question is just one part of the survey, so everyone should complete it. It's not just to indicate that. So please fill in the survey either way. Thank you.
Just want to check if we had any questions before we moved on.
Can you put that survey and the link into the chat, please?
Definitely, we'll drop it in there again, and we'll move it forward right now, and I'll drop it
Sorry, I
into
didn't see it there. Thank you.
Not a problem. Okay, thank you, everyone. Thank you, Carrie. I appreciate that. As we're moving along now, we're about to move into employer engagement updates. I know Gab was going to provide some employer engagement updates. Let me just check and see. I know that we also were having a little bit of some technical difficulties today, so.
Yes. Good afternoon, everyone. Give me a second here.
Not a problem, Gab. We can move forward and we'll
Yeah,
come
go
back
ahead.
to you.
Oh no, actually, I'm good to go. I'm good to go.
Okay, thank you again, Gab.
All right. So please confirm with me verbally if you can see my screen. You should see a PowerPoint screen. Do you guys see that?
Yes. Yes, we
Okay,
see you.
terrific. Okay, let me get all of these extra dialogue windows out the way. All right, good afternoon, everyone. This is your favorite central office employee, Gavaskar Reed. Thank you all for joining us today. I apologize for some of the technical difficulties I've been facing. This is my third computer. I'm actually on Desmond Jardine's computer at this moment. But I do want to thank Sean Reyes and Reina for their support and the work that they're pushing forward within the Office of Student Pathways. And of course, thank you to all the school colleagues and the industry partners and the post-secondary partners that respond to our various outreach. I'm going to spend some few minutes to just give you guys some updates of some various engagement activities, work-based learning activities, and other sorts of collaboration that has been happening between our schools and many of you who are on the call as we speak. The first slide that you see in front of you, I want you guys to know that we are very, very excited to inform you that our CTE driver education program is still happening. And all the talks of technical assessments and all the various fancy curricula that may exist out there, at the end of the day, we have to keep things basic and make sure that some of the fundamental needs of our young people are being met. And in our various surveys and studies and discussions and commission meetings over the past, various industry partners have expressed to us the importance of our young people having a driver license credential. So currently we are working with 13 Korean technical education high schools to provide free 5-hour pre-licensing courses, free behind the wheel lessons, as well as free road tests. The bullet points that you see on the screen in front of you, these are the list of schools that we are currently working with. In our last automotive and transportation commission meeting, we discussed this and we talked about the aircraft mechanic, automotive technician, and maritime technician roles. Well, it's the same thing when it comes to many of the skilled trades roles, when it comes to the building trades. We have looked at various job listings for carpentry, electrical work, as well as plumbing work, and we see that the driver license credential repeatedly comes up. So the schools that we have in bold, those are the ones with construction, trades, and engineering related CTE programs. We are providing these young people with free driver ed instruction, and hopefully before June 2024, we will have more young people who are able to graduate with that extra credential under their belt in addition to their high school diploma. So if you happen to be around the 5 boroughs of New York City, you see any teenager behind the wheel driving in one of these driving school vendor cars, chances are it might be some of our young people. Just make sure that you're either very far in front of them or very far behind so that you don't get into any collisions with them. All right, the next slide, we had a wonderful site visit at Makerspace. In the middle of the picture is Scott Van Kampen. This business has been around for 10 years, and I want to give a shout out to Corey, Kinda, Lisa. Thank you all for collaborating with me to put this visit together. We were able to have the young people from Brooklyn Tech as well as Williamsburg High School exposed to welding, woodworking, 3D printing, blacksmithing, and a number of other concepts as they relate to the manufacturing world. So this was a great trip, and we actually had the kids create their own designs and do a presentation very similar to what you may see on Shark Tank. And then we were able to judge their presentations, and then we gave some prizes away as well. So shout out to Abe Rodriguez and Wendy Chang for recruiting their students to participate in this. And I'm going to ask my co-host that if you see any other folks entering the room, just do me a favor and click admit so that they can come in. Next slide, I did see John Jackson log in. I don't know if he's still around, but I do want to give him a shout out, as well as Diane Gerard. We were able to coordinate a bunch of different site visits to our partners at Sheet Metal Workers Local 28. And in addition to that, our young people got some hand-holding, first-hand assistance in filling out the application so that they can apply to recruitment activities. And this is a big deal, folks, because if you remember historically, it's been so difficult to connect our young people to many of these union opportunities, but we have been able to coordinate these site visits, and our young people got to see some welding, some sheet metal work. We learned about some AutoCAD work, some blueprint reading, and many of the young people who are graduating seniors who want to get into sheet metal work, they filled out the application. We basically put them at the front of the line in front of the general public because we have this direct entry relationship with Local 28. So thanks, John. Thanks, Diane. And of course, Daniel Degby, if he's on the line, we're going to hear from him a bit later from high school for construction trades, engineering, and architecture. He was very integral in making these citywide visits happen as well. Daniel Degby, one of my favorite coordinators to work with. We call him Degs out here in the streets. Thank you, Danny, and the rest of the CTEA team. Next up, I want to give a big shout out to Tim as well and his team for putting together this massive Center for Architecture and Design College Fair that took place a few weeks ago. Tim and team, if I'm not mistaken, you had 515 students attend, and I think that was your most ever, right? We had over 30 different colleges come to this event, so lots of our young people from our architecture programs as well as the non-architecture programs. As long as these kids had interest in architecture and design, they were able to meet with a number of different colleges nationwide. So thank you to our partners at the Center for Architecture for putting that together. Next up, you're going to see some pictures from District Council 9 Finishing Trades for National Apprentice Week. We also collaborated together to host a number of different schools citywide to have them learn more about the finishing trades, what it's like to become a glazier, what it's like to become a bridge painter. We had hands-on activities that our young people participated in, and we had a few hundred students attend. So a big shout out to my main man, Gus, for putting this event together. And of course, this is another opportunity that your young people can apply to after they graduate. Oftentimes within the CTE world, we think about the traditional carpentry, electrical, plumbing, and we do have one HVAC program. But remember, the skilled trades are much more diverse than just those handful of programs. And this is another opportunity that you can encourage your young people to apply to. Next up, I want to give a shout out to Maddie and to Kate from our partners at Explore the Trades. Last year, one of our very own, Anthony Johnson, who's the plumbing teacher extraordinaire from Bronx Design, he was able to secure $10,000 from this grant opportunity for his plumbing program. If there are any schools on this line, excuse me, if there are any schools on this line, if you are offering any grades from 6 to 12, you are eligible to apply for this grant if you plan to either build out a new HVAC or a plumbing program, or if you plan to refurbish your existing HVAC or plumbing program. So please apply for this. This is extra money that is coming your way. And I'm going to be sending out all of these links and information to you in a follow-up email. So congrats to Bronx Design on that. Excuse me. All right, next up, we have Offshore Wind Immersion Day. I did see Eagle Wu on the line. If we have some time, we can get to hear from him a little bit later. Any of the schools on this line who are interested in having their young people learn more about the offshore wind industry, what are the different jobs involved, and you want to get them connected to virtual reality modules, this is the field trip opportunity for you. So far, I've reached out to Harbor School, Science Skills, P-Tech, and a few others, but if this is of interest to you, they're located here in Brooklyn. We can set up that trip, all right? We just ask that you try to keep your class size small. We prefer about 20 students or so, and we can get you connected to Vinci VR so that you can learn more about these industries. Next, we have Crew New York. If you've never heard about Crew, this organization is the Commercial Real Estate Women. All right, so this is a fantastic organization to get your students connected to if they want to learn about every state of the real estate development process. If you are from a CTE school on this line, you should have already received communications from me about this, but basically our partners at Crew, they want to expose our young women to career opportunities within real estate from start to finish. So whether we are talking about accounting, legal, project development, the hands-on trades, the administrative, the front end, the back end, there are various opportunities within real estate development. So if you have a sizable portion of young women who are interested in this particular sector, please fill out the form that I'm going to be resending to you, and then our partners at Crew will be able to touch base and work something out. If I'm not mistaken, I believe that Crew has already connected with George Westinghouse High School. And hopefully, if we have some time, we can get to hear some updates from each of these different partners that I spoke about. And also, I don't have a slide here because it didn't show up on this particular computer, but I also want to give a shout out to our partners from the New York City District Council of Carpenters. They had a big open house event, and we were able to collaborate and connect a number of our students who are interested in the carpentry trades to their headquarters there at 395 Hudson. So that was a wonderful event that took place last month. And again, if your school is doing anything carpentry related, or you have young people that may be interested in that trade, please get in touch with me. We can set up a visit where either the carpentry union visits your classroom, or we can take your kids to headquarters. All right, so those are just a snapshot. Some snapshots of some of the work that's happening within work-based learning and employee engagement. If you are an employer, if you are an industry person in this call and you are interested in connecting with our young people, whether you want to work with our school staff or our young people, or you want to do something with us centrally, get in touch with Sean Reyes or myself, and we can sit down and discuss various ways in which to plug you into the work that is happening within New York City Public Schools. So that's it for me now, Sean. Thank you so much for the time.
And I think, Gav, do you want to give Danny an opportunity to share a little bit
Oh,
about?
yes, Danny Adegby. If you are on the line, I'm gonna ask you to unmute. And by the way, before I hand it over to Danny, we've always had a relationship with Local 28, but Danny, he basically took initiative of his own. He went into the headquarters. He's like, hey, look, I want a partnership with you guys. And they obliged him. And because of Danny, we were able to reignite that connection that we had with Local 28. And thanks to his efforts, hundreds of young people citywide have been able to benefit. So Danny, thank you so much for your service, and you benefit not only the kids at CTEA, but the kids citywide. So thanks for all that you do, Danny. So feel free to unmute.
Thank you, Gav. I mean, likewise, I think about all the opportunities our students have here at our school, and we had a career day yesterday, earlier this week, I want to say Tuesday, 2 days ago, and they, just conversing with some of our alumni that come back and the opportunities they've had to put them where they are now so they can come and give back to our school. I reminisce about, all the first internships and, mentorships, and they all started out with these commission meetings. Students don't realize it, but we push these experiences onto them so that they can grow. But so thank you for that, and thank you for making this possible. In addition to that, I want to say thank you to John Jackson for allowing us to come into your space. It was really, really enjoyable to see our students go and learn about sheet metal work. I mean, many people don't know. My personal friends know my father was a tin knocker. And I wanted to do that for such a long time. And then I ended up getting into drafting and architecture. But, most people don't realize that there's a crossover, there's an overlap. So when I sit with my students here at our school, we have a lot of engineering students, a lot of architecture students who are not quite interested in architecture, or maybe they thought they were, or engineering, and they found that construction, because we have a program here as well, might suit them best. And where do those skills overlap? How can they use what they've learned so far to take their, I want to say, passion for construction into that field? And the Sheet Metal Workers Union is one of them. It's one of the few places where you can go and you can build and create from drafting, pieces that are used to create our structures. And so going to that shop was very, very cool for our students. They got to see the plasma cutters, the machines that create all of the duct work that goes into the buildings, right? That has to be designed by draftspersons or people and printed using CAD and on these machines. There was even welding demonstrations done. Some of our students got to weld there. So it was really eye-opening for the students to see the training facilities and where they're able to grow. It was primarily construction students who went, but we had another group of sophomores go in that were able to see where they could be in 5-10 years, right? So I want to say thank you for that experience. And, we're looking forward to doing it again next year. And, if we can get another group together and get in there this year, we would be in there as well. So that was our experience. And, for those of you who are on the call who haven't had a chance to do that or be a part of it, the next time the opportunity comes along, I highly recommend it. And thank you, Gav, and thank you, John Jackson, once again. So if you have any questions, I would reach out to Gav. I'll reach out to Mr. Jackson and see if you guys can connect to such a way. It's a really wonderful site.
Thanks, Danny. But before I turn it back over to you, Sean, I noticed Kevin Singh is here, and I didn't realize this, but my dad actually taught sheet metal for 21 years. And then Kevin said to me, you see, Gav, you always had CTE running in your blood. And when I was a kid, I couldn't appreciate the trades. And, I'm thankful to be able to partner with so many of these wonderful companies where, as a young person, the trades meant nothing to me, but now I feel like I'm probably the biggest advocate when it comes to this work. So thanks again to Sheet Metal 28 and everybody else involved. Thanks, Sean.
So next on, we'll be moving on to a presentation about a sustainability and the green economy pilot by my colleague, Dr. Adam Breyer.
Thank you very much, Sean. If you'd all just be patient with me for a moment, I'm on a laptop with one screen. All right, so again, thank you, Sean. Thanks, Raina. Thanks, Gav. To the commission members and all school-based personnel, appreciate your time. Look, with the celebration of Climate Action Day earlier this week, it's very timely that I'm announcing to you, even though some of you might already know, that the Office of Student Pathways is launching a pilot course in spring 2024. The course title will be Exploring Sustainability and Green Careers. It's designed to further promote Mayor Adams' Plan NYC, Getting Sustainability Done initiative. So we're looking to partner with 10 schools that are excited about sustainability and ensuring that we greenify, it's an interesting word, greenify, I like it, New York City by enabling students to explore sustainability and prepare for strong careers in the green economy. So while our goal is to pilot this course and related work-based learning opportunities in 10 schools with CTE programs in construction, architecture, engineering, and transportation, we are encouraging all schools that are CTE to apply. That said, those programs I mentioned are our priority schools. They're the target population. So through this course, students are going to learn about sustainability, the growing market for green jobs, and those that are greenifying. Again, I love that word. So those students are also going to have early access to green job work-based learning opportunities. Among some of the topics that are going to be covered are solar energy, green building, electric vehicles, and green transportation. Additionally, the course is going to have a capstone project that asks students to research and present on a market-based green career and its employment sector. So we have 2 information sessions coming up. They are December 12th and December 13th. We also have a one-pager that's a great brief sort of advertisement. I've pretty much read from it here, although I ad-libbed a little bit. To the schools that have already received an email about this, the link is broken. I'm going to correct that either this evening or tomorrow. To the schools that have not yet received that email, you'll receive it tomorrow, and the link will be fixed already. So you don't even have to know it was ever broken. Look, thanks very much to all of you who are going to apply. Thanks to all of you certainly for listening to me, and to Gav, to Sean, to Raina, and to everybody for allowing me this time to sell this course to you. It's a very exciting course, wonderful work-based learning opportunities, and my goodness, don't we really have to greenify, right? All right, so I will give the floor back to Sean, and again, thanks everybody.
Thank you, Adam. So we're going to move into our colleagues from Grant Associates just to give an update on this year's Industry Scholars Program. I don't know if Maria or I believe Maria is on, or if it would be Adele.
I think Renuma is going to be sharing this information.
Yeah, so I'll be sharing today for ISP. So hello everyone. We're here to talk to you about the spring internship cycle that's coming up. So if we can go on to the next slide. So for those of you that don't know, ISP or Industry Scholars Program, we work with you and your students to get them matched to an 8-week work-based learning opportunity through us, and that align with the sector that they're studying in school. So students can gain like work readiness skills, soft skills, hard skills, get to practice some technical skills that they're learning in the classrooms out on the field. This is a paid opportunity, so they will get paid $15 an hour for the 80 hours that they'll work with us. And then they can use these hours towards their CT endorsed diplomas. So this is after school. So like after they get off of school, they'll go over to their job site for 80 hours. And so they can work from 10 to 15 hours a week, minimum 10. We do recommend working 10 hours a week, so 2 hours Monday through Friday to kind of pace themselves as they continue on for the program. So we have 2 different cycles. The first one would be the end would be from February. 1 second. Really quickly. Sorry. Oh God. The first cohort will run from February 5th to March 29th, and that application deadline is coming up January 5th, and those will be for our engineering and architecture programs. So if your school has engineering and architecture, the first cohort will run from February 5th to March 29th, and that deadline is quickly approaching Jan 5th, right after the holiday break. The second cohort would be our construction deadline, and that program will run from April 8th to May 31st, and that deadline would be March 1st. So a little bit more time for the construction students. But again, you know, there are hard deadlines like I-9 verification interviews and stuff that they do have to get across. So let's work with them in order to ensure that they have done all the requirements needed to take advantage of this opportunity. And then this is our contact information. You'll see mine up there, but then also the rest of the teams. If you have other programs like culinary and healthcare, IT or media and design, feel free to take a screenshot of this or a picture of this to reach out to those program managers that oversee those industries. If not, you can feel free to, of course, email me, and then we can get you in touch with the person that you need to get your questions answered. Yeah. So we look forward to seeing your applications coming in throughout the next couple of weeks. And of course, if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to reach out. Thank you.
Thank you again. And so as we're moving forward, we'd like to open the floor now and have an opportunity so that our industry partners can share updates and opportunities. I know also, Gav, you mentioned that was particularly 2 partners you want to highlight as well.
Yeah, there are a few. Eagle, are you still on the line? Vinci VR? I see that you're still logged in. If you're still around, can you please unmute?
Yeah, can you guys hear me?
Yes, we hear you.
Awesome. I don't have any slides, but just kind of reiterating what Gav said. My name is Eagle. I'm the founder of Vinci Virtual Reality. We create virtual reality career exposure as well as training tools for the clean energy industry. So what we have developed over the years are a library of different careers. Basically, it's using these VR headsets here with these controllers. So students get the full immersion from everything from working at heights. So for example, this is a wind turbine behind me. Students learn what it's like to work off the top of a wind turbine. They can get simulated seasickness as well. All these different factors in addition to the skills training in VR. So what we're doing is we are partnering with various offshore wind developers that are bringing these offshore wind farms to the state of New York over the next few years. And we're essentially running pilots to see how and where this tool can integrate into wider CTE programs and just wider school programs in New York City in general. So Gavin mentioned our first pilot that we're calling the Offshore Wind Immersion Day. We're looking for a few schools that would be interested in partnering and bringing students to the South Brooklyn Marine Terminal, which is where the staging port for the first major offshore wind farm is currently for New York City. There we'll have offshore wind technicians speak to students, as well as providing various VR experiences for the students to use and learn about careers in the industry itself. So if you're interested, I posted my email and our website link in the chat. Please feel free to reach out and let me know if you are interested. Thank you. That's everything from me, Gab. So back to you.
Thanks, Eagle. And by the way, while you were talking, City Poly High School expressed interest and wanted to meet you and partake in this activity. So some more schools are going to be coming your way. Any questions for Eagle before we move on from anyone? All right, thanks, Eagle. Robin, can you unmute? We'd love to hear more about Crew.
Sure. Hi. Good afternoon, everyone, and Gab, thanks for having me. I'm Robin Landau. I'm with Landau and Landau Architects, but I'm here today as the chair of the Career Advancement Committee for Crew New York. And as Gab mentioned earlier, we are an organization of women in the real estate field. We're an international organization. In our New York chapter, we have almost 200 women, and we are going to introduce our Crew Careers program into the New York City schools. Our committee has been putting together a program where we're going to bring in various professionals from different careers in real estate. We'll put together a panel discussion and have students ask us some questions and introduce them to what it might be like to enter some of the careers that we have been in and we are in. This is a women's organization, but we are open to having anybody participate in this. We have heard from a number of schools already, and we look forward to hearing from more. We'd like to make this into a regular program that we can do with multiple schools during the year. So thank you for having us, and we look forward to hearing from more of you and partnering with you.
All right. Thanks, Robin. Any questions for Robin? All right, thank you very much. Tatiana and Lauren, I did receive an email. Did you have any announcements you had to make about ACE Mentor?
Hey everyone, good afternoon. Nothing from us at the moment. Just be nice to share. We do have, we signed up over 1,650 students to ACE Greater New York this year. We reached to 50 teams, so we're getting back up to our pre-COVID numbers, which is great. We really couldn't have done it without all the CTE support help from people on this call and our school partners. So we're doing a big job this year of keeping in touch with our schools and just keeping in track of which students are in ACE and sharing that with schools. So we'll just stay connected and keep everyone up to date.
All right, great. Thank you, Lauren. Any other industry updates? Any announcements? All right, unless I'm going to give you guys a few minutes to think about that. But while I do have you, one of our high schools is currently in need of an electrical teacher. And a couple of things. Number one, I do continue to push industry folks if you do want to transition to become a CTE teacher, we have various pathways in place for that, and you don't necessarily need a college degree. There are different transitional A pathways where, if as long as you have the industry experience, we can walk you through the process so that we can connect you to becoming a full-time teacher. That being said, in order to become a substitute teacher, you would need a 4-year degree. I know that's a little contradictory, but to be a sub, you need a higher credential than to be the full-time teacher. But if there is anyone that does have that electrical background, um, uh, and they have a 4-year degree in any subject, we could use that individual because one of our schools downtown Brooklyn is in need of an electrical teacher. There's a couple of folks I'm looking at. Jimmy, I'm trying to get Jimmy Orban and his folks to move over to the classroom side. But if anybody's interested in that, please just hit me up, send me your resume. I see in the chat box, can I speak with someone more about transitional options for somebody with an MBA looking to become certified to become a CTE business and marketing teacher? Yes, Alexandra, you can get in touch with me about that. We can sit down and talk about that, or you can direct the individual to me and I can walk them through the CTE certification process. That's not a problem. All right. Any other updates from industry partners or our school colleagues? As a reminder, if you are a staff member from a school and you have career days coming up, you need assistance in recruiting industry folks, reach out to us. If you have your NYCPS program review coming up and you need assistance in recruiting industry and post-secondary individuals to look at your curriculum and sit on that committee, please reach out to us. All right, so we are here to serve you, to support you, and be that bridge between your school and the industry. So anything that comes up at all, please reach out to Sean or myself. And the same thing also to the industry folks. If you want to collaborate with us and you're not quite sure, we have a menu of options we can provide to you so that you can figure out what is the best and most feasible way in order for you to work with our young people and our staff. So please reach out to us at any time. If there are no other announcements, I just want to close the meeting and just thank you all for participating. We will be sending out meeting notes, all the different slides and all the different information that has been presented. We will email that to you. You see that Reina is putting that survey link in the chat box. Please feel free to fill that out before we close the chat box. We're going to keep this meeting going and we're going to keep the chat box open because I know a lot of you attend these meetings because you like to be able to exchange contact information and network with each other. So the recording can stop, but we'll keep the Zoom window open in case you want to talk with me or you want to speak with anybody else on the line. But I do want to express my sincere thanks on behalf of the Office of Student Pathways for you attending this meeting. You could have been doing anything else. You could have been anywhere else, but you chose to be here. So thank you. And I might be out for a while in the beginning of 2024 because I need some much needed time off. So this probably might be the last time you guys are going to see me face to face for a little bit. But I do thank you all for everything that you do. And please reach out at any time. We're here to support you. Thank you.
Thank you, Gav and Sean, for
Thanks.
coordinating and organizing. Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.